Hello again, everyone. This is Howard Cosell, speaking of sports.
You are listening to the Cheap Seats.
Who are these guys?
On Twitter at TCSWillisMSP Detterman, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio.
Here is Steve and Steve.
Oh my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
Ah, boy, here we go.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is the Cheap Seats right here on XERS Radio. I'm your host, Steve Willis, and alongside me, a very chipper today.
That is right. Ready to go. And
Steve Detterman.
Yes. Positive, man. We're going at it.
Yes.
We're ready to rock and roll because
positivity.
We've got some basketball.
We have all kinds.
Oh, my God.
All kinds of basketball. The NCAA tournament going strong.
My bracket going very bad.
Everybody's bracket has
gone
bad.
Yes.
It was absolutely ridiculous. But what's really funny, not surprising.
What's that?
Not surprising that the brackets were so crazy this year. And the main reason why I say it's not surprising is because there was no clear cut.
No.
As you went into this tournament, as you went into the field, there was no clear cut number one of any kind. And the main reason is because all year we were watching number one after number one go down.
Right.
And it did not surprise me that when we got into tournament play, you saw a lot of upsets. Obviously, the 12 seed beating the 5 seed, that's not really...
No, we usually have one or two of those always.
Right. Yeah, one or two a year. Yep. Actually, I think the statistic was the 5 seed versus the 12 seed. The 5 seed is now... I think it's
are they the underdog?
12 and 9.
Are they the underdog now?
Yeah, or 12 and 10.
12 and 10.
12 and 10 in the last handful of years. So, that tells you how evenly matched that seed is. But, the big surprise is obviously Michigan State going down is probably the biggest surprise out of anybody.
Well, I mean, going down not second night, but first night.
Yeah, the first night, Middle Tennessee State.
But here's the thing. If you take a look at this, all 4 number 1 seeds made it past the first weekend.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing that, in going there, were the 4 number 1 seeds properly picked? Obviously, yes.
Well, apparently.
Now, if you take a look at the games yesterday, you had 2 number 1s, you had 2 number 2s, you had 2 number 3s, pretty good representation.
Right.
And a 4. The only thing you had left was a 5. So you had everything right within the top 5, what you would expect. Now, today's games, you got a 6 going against a 7 and a 10 going against an 11.
Now, when you look at the Sweet 16, which is where we're in right now, you don't normally you have in the Sweet 16 you have that one Cinderella, that one high seed that has made it through against all odds. And when you look at really of the high seeds, there really only is 2, Gonzaga and Syracuse at 10 and 11.
But those are unknowns.
Right, exactly. That's exactly where I was going with that. There is no Cinderella this year.
There's no mid-major that you've never heard of.
Right, exactly. I mean, every team is from a major conference.
Where's
Kansas,
VCU?
Maryland.
Where's
right, there is no George Mason.
Where's the Northern Iowa out of this one? I mean, you don't have it this year. When you're 10 and 11 seed or Syracuse and Gonzaga, I mean, they were ranked earlier this year.
Right, and I mean, maybe you could make a case for the Zags being a team that, that perennially gets into the tournament. They're usually ousted by the first weekend, but that's not always the case either. Here in recent history, we've seen them hit the Elite Eight at least twice.
They're like the Boise State in NCAA basketball.
Right, exactly.
But this has been a tournament that, I mean, going into it, I pick brackets every year. And this is the one, we had talked a little bit off air and we talked a little bit together. And I said, this is one that I don't know who to pick because there is no one team that I'm going to go, my God, that's the team that's just going to walk right through it. And this year, yes, your 4 number ones just are still there, but I don't, right now, if I took favorites, I'd say, Kansas looked pretty damn good last night, as did Villanova.
They both did.
Both of those looked very, but Oregon, good God, I hadn't seen Oregon play at all.
It's funny, though, that everybody looked at that Oregon game last night like, oh, my God, they took down Duke, and they just, they manhandled them.
But Duke has been horrible this year.
Yeah, Duke is a kind of a misnomer this year. The name is great. The team looks good, but they don't play well together.
No, well, they just don't play together. That's it. They have great players.
Right, great talent.
Krzyzewski's team are always going to have that talent.
Right.
This is one that has not meshed. They don't play together.
Now, there's another team that is playing tonight that I feel the same way about. They actually play tonight, and that is North Carolina. North Carolina is another one of those teams. They are a Jekyll and Hyde team. They can either, if they play together, they are the most talented team in the nation, probably the best team in the nation. And if they don't, they are a complete dumpster fire. They get in foul trouble early, and all your talent ends up sitting on the bench in the fourth quarter or in the end of the second half. Sorry,
I know what you're saying. But
I've been watching women's basketball, and I still don't get that. Why does men's basketball have 2 halves? Women's basketball has 4 quarters.
It hasn't always been that way, has it?
I don't know. I
think they were halves. I think it just went to quarters recently, but I think it's because they felt they needed the rest. I don't
really get it though.
You've got the timeouts.
What about Title IX? What about equal time?
I know, but anyways, when you get to North Carolina. This is a team that early on I would say yes, this was a dumpster fire waiting to happen. But this has been one of the most consistent, one of the most talented teams, but also one of the hottest teams as we've headed down this last month and a half of the season.
This is true, but they've still had hiccup games. They've still had games. They may have won, but they didn't play well.
Right, but the sign of a good team is when you have that hiccup, you still can win.
Right, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not a good team. I'm not saying that at all.
I'm just
saying it is a team that is a Jekyll and Hyde team.
On one of my brackets, this is the team I picked to win it. I picked what I did when I got to picking my brackets. I looked, I said, well, you know what? I don't see that clear-cut favorite. I want to take a look at the hot teams.
Right.
And the hot teams when I was making the pick, North Carolina and Kentucky.
Right.
And Kentucky just totally let me down. But they ran that that buzzsaw that was Indiana this last Sunday. Indiana just looked incredible.
I had said this during the Big Ten tournament. IU's loss in the Big Ten tournament, how bad they played in that loss, and how they left the Big Ten tournament, I had immediately said that was probably the best thing that could have happened to them going into this tournament because they knew they were in.
Right.
They knew they were coming in. They're a 5 seed. It wasn't like it was a big surprise that Indiana made the tournament.
Right.
But they came into the Big Ten tournament, I think, a little bit ahead of themselves. They came into the Big Ten tournament on a fairly good win streak, and they were winning a little bit too easy, in my opinion. And when they hit the Big Ten tournament, they got in some real tight competition. They ended up losing a bad game. And they looked terrible. A lot of turnovers. I think it was like 26 turnovers or something like that in that game.
Right.
Their shooting percentage was terrible, like 35, 40%. It was awful. They looked terrible in that game. And I had immediately switched the TV off, and I thought to myself, that is going to be a benefit as they go into the tournament. And now IU looks like a monster in the tournament. What happens against UNC? I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Did it surprise you when we come down here to the Sweet 16? 6 teams from the ACC, 3 from the Big Ten. The major conferences just dominating this.
Not a big surprise. Not a big surprise, I think, for both conferences because the ACC really they were really loaded this year with talent as far as the schools that came out of the ACC. Miami, kind of a surprise. Miami, I really wasn't putting a lot of faith in at the beginning of this year, but looking at Virginia, Notre Dame, Syracuse, those three were just. I mean,
but Syracuse, of course, Syracuse is still Big East. No, they are. They're ACC. They are ACC. That's right. But I mean, I was surprised at the performance, of the ACC as it got. I mean, I expected the North Carolina. I expected Virginia to get here. Did I expect Notre Dame? No, I didn't. Did I expect Syracuse? No. Did I expect Duke? No, I didn't expect Duke to get to the Sweet 16.
The only reason why I had faith in Notre Dame is because their guard play has been very good the second half of the year. In actuality, no, it hasn't. I thought it has.
No, Demetrius Jackson disappeared. He disappeared for about a month, the last month and a half. They just found him again here in the tournament. They were talking about. I mean,
I guess I shouldn't say the second half of the season. I mean,
you got to remember.
Yeah, I should say more like the last month.
Well, no, actually the last two games, because if you take a look at how they finished this season, they finished the season horribly, and the only thing that was saving them was August. Zach August was just doing an incredible amount of work inside, but they were also getting some plays from some of their freshmen. Jackson disappeared for about the last month of the season, and that was one of the big things in reading the South Bend paper over the last couple of days on the resurgence of all of a sudden Demetrius Jackson. They found him the last game and a half that he actually scored in double digits for the first time in a month in the first round, and then scored 16 points in this last game against Stephen F. Austin to get them where they are now. So, I mean, he hasn't played good. Vesturia still hasn't done anything yet here in this and in the tournament, and they're hoping that he can turn it on. It's been August that's just been a beast, and I think right now August is on track that if he hits like 3 or 4 shots or 4 shots in a row here, has a decent night, he could actually set the record for field goal percentage in the NCAA tournament for a certain period of time.
Now, you see them going up against Wisconsin, obviously, tonight at 7:30.
I think that's a great matchup for them.
It is going to be a good matchup for Wisconsin, or for Notre Dame versus Wisconsin. I like Wisconsin's strength. I like their size. I like their ability to just kind of really fill up the front court. But I do think Notre Dame is elusive enough, and I think their game plan, that they've brought into this tournament, I think is going to be enough to be able to kind of overcome that size disadvantage.
This is going to be a great game. You got to remember, Wisconsin started 1-4 in the Big Ten,
right?
They were like 9 or 7-9 or something like that. Finished 22-12.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team that finished very strong. They got halfway during the season. They were doing terrible. Remember, Bo Ryan left halfway, through the season. Just that's it. I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm gone. It's like, okay. Later shows up. Hey, Bo. Was it because you had like 3 different women on the side or whatever it was? But he was having some problems on that issue. But this team came together. I was reading today, Nigel Hayes, they had a meeting, and he started calling out his teammates. And at that time, you can go one of two ways. The whole team can just split, and you can just bomb the season, or they pull together. They pulled together, and they started playing like the Wisconsin team should have. Now, remember, this team lost a lot of talent from last year. They lost Kaminsky. They lost Decker. Decker left early. Decker, could have been with this team. Right. They lost a couple other kids. Now you're down to a team that's trying to find themselves. They still had the couple of pieces. They had the Hayes. They had Koenig. Koenig came up big, here in this last game, hitting those 3-pointers at the end, to propel them to this Sweet 16 spot. This is going to be a good matchup because, Wisconsin is playing like the team that they should have been all season. And Notre Dame is all of a sudden the last couple of games, they have found themselves again. Their point guard has come back to life, which that's what Notre Dame needs if they're going to continue to go in this tournament. I see this being a very, very competitive game. But I do see Notre Dame taking this game and getting to the Elite Eight for the second year in a row.
I think, like I said, their style of play, Notre Dame's style of play, very different from what you would see out of a Wisconsin. But then they also they're also facing a Wisconsin team that is very different from the Stephen F. Austin team that they just got done playing. The one thing that Mike Bray has shown me in this last game and actually throughout the ACC tournament is his in-game adjustments are so spot on here lately. So that I think is really going to be a big help. Honestly, I think if Notre Dame can get up early and if they can make Wisconsin just kind of get out of their normal game plan and try and play catch up the entire game, it may end up getting Wisconsin just off kilter enough that Notre Dame can push past them and reach the Elite Eight.
I think this game it's going to depend upon Vasturia's going home. They're playing this over in Philadelphia. He's a kid from that area. He has not had a good tournament so far. Now he's going home with a chance to play in front of a lot of hometown folks, and I think this is a game that if you can see some contributions, you can see a major contribution for Notre Dame from Steve Vasturia. I think that's going to be the difference. I think Jackson's going to have a good game. August has just been a beast. Bringing Colson off the bench as a sixth man. It's been a tremendous move by Bray. He brought the freshman in to start. He brings Colson off. It gives him that energy, gives him a little punch. But I think it's also gotten Colson settled down as the game goes. I think when he starts, it's almost like he's too keyed up.
Right.
And once the game goes, I think he flows better coming in as a sixth man like he did last year.
Right.
And I think that has really helped this year when he has come off the bench rather than when he has started.
Well, I think one of the things, one of the reasons why I said Notre Dame really needs a big start, a fast start, is kind of the way it's because of the way Wisconsin ended their game against Xavier. I mean, if you think about it, all right, if not for Bronson Koenig, Wisconsin would not have made it this far. It would be Notre Dame versus Xavier.
What did Koenig have? He had 2 3-pointers in the last 20 seconds.
Right, exactly. So I mean, they needed him to knock off Xavier. This really, like I said, would have been Notre Dame Xavier is what it would have been.
Oh yeah, and that's
not for the last 30 seconds of that game.
And that's how I had it picked: is Notre Dame versus Xavier. Didn't happen, but that's how I had picked.
But that being the case, I mean, you want to kind of. Wisconsin's almost like sitting with that, okay, we're playing with house money kind of feel right now. And
they're
if
loose.
I know they're loose, but if Notre Dame comes in and they start pounding on them right away, how quick is that revelation of, oh my goodness, should we even be here? Kind of sink in on them and just get them out of their game plan.
But you got to remember,
I'm not saying they're going to completely trash themselves.
Well, you got to remember, this is a team that was in the championship game last year. They've been there before.
Once again, though, not the same team.
It's not the same starters, but most of the players that are there have been in this tournament. They were there with them last year. No, they weren't playing, but your main people. Koenig had a big role last year. Koenig is a freshman, now he's a sophomore. Hayes had a big role last year, so they have some people that did play in that championship game. I think that's going to help them. Do I still think that they're going to beat Notre Dame? No, I don't. I think Notre Dame is going to take this game. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a closer game. I think it's going to end up between a 6 and 8 point game.
All right, now let's move on to North Carolina, Indiana. That's going to be obviously a big game. I think a lot on the line there.
Yes,
I'm looking at these two teams. The Hoosiers are a beast right now. They're red hot, and they really. I mean, the win against Kentucky really gave them confidence. It really did, and. They have the talent to pull off an upset here. I like North Carolina better. If Bryce Johnson can get a double-double, I mean, looking at Marcus Page, hitting threes now. I mean,
right.
it is a very, very talented team. Once again, if they play together, that's going to be a big thing, and that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of weight on Yogi Ferrell's shoulders right now. The guard for the Tar Heels. He's going to have to facilitate, and he's going to have to keep that offense smooth and capable of scoring a lot of points. And if they can do that, I don't think Indiana can keep up as talented as what Indiana is. I don't think the Hoosiers can keep up. If North Carolina can pull up 75, 80 points, I don't think that Indiana can do the same.
See, and I on this one, I'm going to disagree with you on this one because this is one where I go back to what you said about Notre Dame, Wisconsin. If Indiana can get out fast and can go at it, I think that is going to put a little of a dagger into North Carolina and just give that. I mean, when you watched what Indiana did just this last week against Kentucky, they got out front and they all of a sudden, instead of just kind of coasting, they put the pedal down. I mean, they really went at it. And Yogi Ferrell, I mean, this was the catalyst of what they did. The way he runs the floor, Indiana, in watching them, and I'd only seen Indiana played once or twice this year, and I think the time I did see him before, I don't believe Ferrell was playing or he didn't play that much. But when he gets out there and he leads this group, it's a very quick, athletic team. Very quick. Their big guys move very good. Now, North Carolina does the same thing. But the thing is North Carolina doesn't play behind a lot. Earlier in the season they did, and when they did, to me, what I saw, it's like when Notre Dame played them, they became lethargic. They sort of started doubting and questioning themselves, because that's not. I mean, these are your 5-star players. These are the guys that are your NBA draft picks after one. That they're not used to having that happen. If Indiana can jump out quick and can jump to a 10-point lead and can just keep motoring like that, I think that's only going to just really help them because I don't see that killer instinct in North Carolina in the comeback.
Who scores more in this game, Thomas Bryant or Marcus Page? I think those are the two big scorers, I think, for each team. Thomas Bryant for IU, obviously Marcus Page for North Carolina. I think if Marcus Page gets hot from the three-point line, he's gonna. I mean, you're looking at a possible 30-point game.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the thing is, this is going to be a blowout one way or the other. I don't see this. I mean, I can see if Indiana jumps out real quick, I can see them running away with this. But on the alternative, if North Carolina jumps out real quick, I can see them running with it. I don't see this as being a close, a 4 to 6 point game. I see this being 10 or more points one way or the other. I don't see this being, a nail biter at the end. Right.
Well, we are going to hit a break. When we come back, the other two games of tonight's NCAA Sweet 16, we're going to break those down. Plus, we got Bill McDonald coming up here before too long, going to give us a live report from sunshiny Florida. Tell us he's been watching some preseason baseball. We're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later on. So you guys stick around. We'll be right back. This is the Cheap Seats on XERS Radio.
Where do you go when you're looking for great food, a cold drink, and some of the best local live music? I go to the Phoenix, located on the corner of Lincoln Way and Main Street in historic downtown Mishawaka. Thursday nights, it's open jam with $2 well drinks. Friday and Saturdays, there's always live music with no cover charge. Great food, cheap drinks, excellent service. The place to be is the Phoenix.
From all of the games on our big screens to the best collection of memorabilia from your favorite sports greats, Rock Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Mishawaka has you covered. Our menu features something for everyone. Amazing sandwiches and wraps, and the best burgers around, including the Rockstar Overdose, 2 half-pound patties, served with bacon, cheddar cheese, and piled high with French fries. Like us on Facebook to check out our daily food and drink specials that are sure to be great on your gut and easy on your wallet. We've got you covered between game days, too. Wednesday night is trivia night where you can match wits with your buddies for great prizes. And every weekend, Rocks features great music from some of Michiana's finest artists. Come see why there's no better place to get your fan fix than Rock Sports Bar and Grill in the Yorktown Center building in downtown Mishawaka. For those who come to Rocks, we salute you.
to hear, host of MDG's All Access Pass. Do you like to rock? I know you do. How about some metal bands? Great! I have exactly what you're looking for. James Rowe from MDG Music Discussion Group and myself have teamed up to bring you local, regional, and national bands, news, reviews, and of course, shenanigans. Join us every Monday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, for MDG's All Access Pass. Only on the X. XERSradio.com.
Hi, I'm former President George W. Bush. Now, here's a couple of guys that always have some kind of exit strategy. Steve Willis and Steve Detterman.
And we're back to Cheap Seats on XERS Radio. So, Notre Dame, Michigan, playing right now in hockey. We were
yes,
talking,
they are.
Just talking off air. We're going to sidebar this just for a second because I don't buy into it. But Steve was just mentioning how Notre Dame has joined, or they're going to here in 2 years. They're going to be joining the Big Ten for hockey.
Yes, they are.
Obviously, they're doing it because the ACC doesn't have hockey.
Well,
and they've joined the ACC in every other sport except for football.
Well, here's the thing, though. With the league they're in right now, out in the East Coast, is the best. I mean, it is the best conference in college hockey.
Okay.
The Big Ten broke away. It used to have the different leagues in that. The Big Ten a couple of years ago wanted, because the Notre Dame played with a bunch of the Big Ten schools.
Sure.
The Big Ten broke away because they wanted to go on their own. They wanted to create their own. They had enough teams in their conference that were playing, and they wanted to form their own, their own league.
Right.
The Big Ten League.
Right.
And so Notre Dame was left looking. And that's where they went off to there, and they were part of the, I believe it's the CCHA. Now the Big Ten, they've been playing a couple of years. Just a couple of weeks ago, you were mentioning you watched Michigan play Minnesota.
Right.
They played in Minnesota for the Big Ten championship game in a beautiful stadium that I believe holds like about 16,000, and they barely got, I think, maybe 8,000 in there, and that's in Minnesota's home, in the big stadium of Minnesota.
Right,
and Minnesota
right.
was playing in this game. They still could not fill it.
Right.
And the big thing is they wanted to get Notre Dame, part of that. So they actually have brought Notre Dame in. From what I understand, they've also sent out some other, feelers to some other, outside the Big Ten hockey teams to come in there, to help out. But the big speculation then is that you've added Notre Dame, or Notre Dame has agreed to come with a Big Ten in hockey. Is this something we can see in a couple of years that again, the football would stay independent?
Sure.
You will not you will never
change.
see that change as long as Notre Dame has that contract with NBC to air all their football games and everything. You're not going to see that change.
Right.
But could this be a precursor to seeing the other sports for Notre Dame hopping to the Big Ten?
I say no.
And one of the things that was brought up, they said, when you start taking a look at some of these sports, especially the sports like baseball or some of the other ones, if you have a rain out, if Notre Dame is playing on the road and they have a rain out in Miami, and they have to go back down, the cost right now for Notre Dame to go to the ACC right now, as opposed to going to closer schools, which is Big Ten, big difference in cost there. And the thing is that your moneymaker is football. You're not going to change that.
Right.
The other programs, a lot of them do not make money. They're there because you have representation. You have to have that both male and female.
Right.
Now, the cost of making up, let's say there's a rain out in Miami, or you're playing in the Big Ten, you have a rain out in Northwestern. It's a lot cheaper to go back to Northwestern and play that doubleheader than it is to fly right back down to Miami and make that do that doubleheader again.
This is true. But in the Big Ten, you're going to have that same issue with Nebraska or Maryland.
It's still a lot closer, and it's only 1 or 2. With the ACC, remember, you're going down to North Carolina, you're going to Duke, you're going to North Carolina State, you're going to Virginia, you're going to Miami. You've got a lot more teams that it's a lot more travel than to go to Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Illinois, Indiana, Purdue. If you start taking a look at the teams, Notre Dame is more centrally located to most of the Big Ten teams, even Ohio State, than flying back and forth.
I don't disagree with that, but I will tell you this. The day I see anybody at Notre Dame clipping coupons, that'll be the day I see them worried about money. That school has more money than it knows what to do with.
Well, they do.
I don't think that they're worried about an extra couple of $1,000s worth of travel costs.
And the thing is that, maybe not. I mean, because the thing, it's more than a couple thousand. When you figure that you're getting a plane and you're flying, it's a difference between a plane trip.
Student body of what, 25, 30,000 people. Each one of them pays about $100 and some odd $1,000.
No.
Whatever.
Notre Dame only has 8,000 students, Steve.
Yeah, whatever. They're all paying $500,000 worth of tuition. That's okay.
I know.
What about the boosters? You got one guy that writes a check for like $35 million a year.
They're paying $100,000 a year, but that only takes care of Brian Kelly's salary. now, and also paying for Charlie Weiss still. So
they gotta.
By the way,
no, he's off the books now.
I think he just came off the books.
Yeah, just officially off the books.
But Lou Holtz was still on there. But by the way, second period in the hockey. This is in the playoffs now. Notre Dame just scored at the start of the second period, 2-1 Notre Dame over Michigan.
Oh, there you go. Go Irish.
Yeah, my son's down there. He's go blue.
Oh,
and I told him
right.
He goes.
Yeah, that's right. We got to root for Michigan.
Yeah, well, no, he would no. He sent that out. I go, yay, boo. I got to go. I said, go blue, go gold.
Yeah. So let's get back to the NCAA tournament. Two more games to look at. We have got what to me is one of the more interesting games tonight, and that's going to be one of the later games on CBS, and that's Gonzaga and Syracuse. Now, when you look at this game, the Zags are kind of like that team that the team nobody wants to face right now because they are red hot. All right, and they've won their last 7 games of the regular season to get into the NCAA tournament. And during that span, during those last 7 games, check this out: 4 players averaged in double figures. 4 players, and
here's one thing I want to bring up to you.
What's that?
Gonzaga. They have got a record of 28-7. There's another team playing tonight that has a 28-7 record. Though Gonzaga sports an 11th seed, and that team got a 1 seed.
Right. That is
it's Virginia.
Yeah. Well, they were 26-7, but yeah.
Well, no, Virginia's 28-7 right now because they won their 2. And Gonzaga's 28. They had the same record coming into this tournament. Now, that's a difference between coming from a big conference and coming from your mid-major conference.
Right.
And that's where I take a look at that 11th seed, and to me that's a little misleading. They're okay, 11th seed, 26-7 coming into the tournament. They play out in what is it, the Big West or Mountain West Mountain West ones. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to get into a big seeding debate, but I think one of the reasons why they hit that 11th seed is because they had to win so many in a row just to make it into the tournament.
Oh yeah.
So it kind of became an afterthought just out of that. But looking at this game, I really like why Gonzaga is really hot right now, and I really like the fact that it's not just one player; it is 4 players. I mean, you got Kyle Whittler, Domantas Sabonis. I love that name, by the way.
Yeah, but Whittler's the guy.
Yeah, Whittler definitely. Eric McKellen and Josh Perkins are. I mean, the 4 of them going nuts in those last 7 games and through the tournament so far. They've been spectacular. I really like how hot they are. And when you look at Syracuse, who they've kind of been the recipients of a lot of fortune here in the last.
They have, but they have played very good defense. I mean, it's a very good defensive club.
Right. This is true. But I mean, when you lose 5 of 6 games, including a one and done in the ACC.
Yep.
And you're here now.
No.
You want to talk about a team that's playing with house money?
No. I understand. But like I said, Gonzaga. I look at that 11th seed, and I just kind of, hey, this to me is like a, if you look at Indiana at a 5th seed at 27-7, I say Gonzaga should have been a 4th or 5th also. Of course, I think Indiana was a little low. I think Indiana should have been about a 3. But I mean,
yeah. But when you let me put it this way: when you're looking at Syracuse, though. All right.
Yeah.
Who have they beaten? They beat Dayton.
Okay.
And then they got to Middle Tennessee.
I understand.
Which should have been Michigan State.
Right.
And they are right now sitting in the Sweet 16 as a team that goes, how did this happen?
They're going, yeah, we're good. Yeah. That's
right. Woo. Did you see that Middle Tennessee game?
You see how we
spanked them, man.
We handled that puppy, didn't we? Yeah, that's right. We're right where we belong.
Yeah, exactly. No. Tom Izzo's team, things happen.
It's like Tom, remember, this was your most talented team ever, you said.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I'm looking at this game. I really like Gonzaga in this game, just for that main reason. The fact that Syracuse, they're kind of, they found a lot of 4-leaf clovers so far in March, and I think they're just about done as far as that goes.
Last game, Iowa State, Virginia. This is your other number one seed out of the ACC. Iowa State has kind of been they've been hitting out there with Kansas and Oklahoma and everything else going on.
They definitely, and I really, I think really Iowa State. Any team from Iowa, I said this at the beginning of the tournament.
You did.
Any team from Iowa is going to be dangerous. It's going to be a team that you're not going to want to face. I think when you look at this, and you look at the players in this game, Niang in particular, I think is going to be the one that he's going to come in kind of a chip on his shoulder. He's going to feel like he's got some unfinished business. They were seeded 3rd in the last 2 tournaments. I think with the high expectations that they've had going into the last couple of years, the Elite 8 should not be way outside of their grasp. This is their chance, though, since 2000. This is their chance to be able to go to the Elite 8 or the Final 4. Being upset last year by UAB, I think really just kind of puts that chip on their shoulders. So, I mean, they are playing very chippy right now. They're playing like a team that, has something to prove. And Niang being a senior, that was me. That was my cell phone.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just wow. Hey.
Should have been off, and it's not. So now it's off. Okay.
It was just pointing out you had a great point coming.
Yes, that's what it was. But he missed. Obviously, he broke his foot last year. Missed the Sweet 16 game. He feels like he's got something to prove. This whole team feels like it's got something to prove. And they kind of feel like I think they can walk into this game, and if they have a very good performance, they have a chance to beat Virginia. Now, that said, Virginia is quite the talented team. One of the best defenses in the country.
Right.
And they, just looking at their coach, can you see why? Tony Bennett.
I have some things to tell you about Tony Bennett when we get here.
Learning from, his dad, Dick Bennett, probably one of the greatest defensive minds in college basketball. So
on to Wisconsin. He was the precursor to Bo Ryan.
Right, exactly. So, and Virginia's got a good offense. Don't get me wrong. Malcolm Brogdon, he's been a double-figure kid in every game but the first game of the season. how many guys can you say scored double figures in every game except one? So, I mean, he is a big catalyst to that offense. And when you look at like Anthony Gill, Shayok, and London Parantes, all three of those guys, they really help just kind of attack you from every angle on the court. And all these guys being seniors, they're the experience playing together. They're a very well organized team on the offense, and on defense, once again, like I said, best in the country in my opinion. So it's going to be real tough for Iowa State if they pull this off. I like Iowa State to make a run to the championship game.
Only problem is they're running up against a Virginia team that just is they're a dynamic team, and right. I think it starts at the top with the coach Tony Bennett. I go back to I watched Tony Bennett play when he was in college. Tony Bennett played for his dad up at Green Bay, University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. I watched him play and watched him drain, threes that it was unbelievable. They would just throw it to a spot. He would grab it, turn it, and throw it. I mean, you talk about, looking at Steph Curry, the way he shoots. That was Tony Bennett when he played in college. Tony Bennett still holds the lead. He's all-time leader in the in the Mid-Continent Conference, the Mid-Continent for points, right, assists.
Right.
His 3-point field goal percentage of 49.7%. 49.7% of 3-point shots he made. Still an NCAA record.
That is ridiculous.
He led them into the NCAA. He was named the Naismith Award winner for the best senior player under 6 foot. That was back in 1992. He was an All-American, an academic All-American. I can remember watching him when they went to the NCAA. I picked them to win. They did. That was the year I ended up winning the tournament, or my bracket. But I watched him play, and I was just amazed at watching the competitiveness of him, not only on the offensive side, but on the defensive side. And his dad, I mean, you watch what Dick Bennett did at Wisconsin.
Yes.
He did this at Green Bay with, a lot less talented kids.
Right.
But he took that team, and you knew that Wisconsin was going to be that much better because he could bring in the talent. And
right.
and Dick Bennett did that. Tony Bennett has those same qualities. He knows how to get the best out of his players. Does he get the 5-star, whatever person? No, he doesn't.
No.
But he gets the people that are very athletic, that want to play defense, but knows how to play the type of game that he wants to play. That's what he has there. And this is a Virginia team that, under his tutelage over the last couple of years, has been one of the best teams in all of NCAA. And this is a team I was not surprised that they got a number one.
Right.
I was a little upset that it was between them and Michigan State, but when you looked at it and you saw the Virginia, I understand why.
Yeah, Virginia was one of those teams that you looked at when they got their number one. You're like, okay, I get it. I'm not happy Michigan State didn't get a number. But if there were 5 teams and one team had to be in there, Virginia would. The one that I thought that should have been out from number 1 seeds would have been Oregon over Michigan State, because I thought Michigan State earned it more than Oregon. And ironically, Oregon is still around. Yes, they are. But I see this as something that Virginia. I see Virginia as taking this game. I just think their athleticism. I think the tenacity they play with is gonna take them over. I like Virginia in this game. I really, my heart is with Iowa State. Right. Just because they're an Iowa team, and you like those Iowa teams. I really do. I like the Iowa teams this year, and it's one of those teams that once again, chip on its shoulder. They feel like they got something to prove, and as the old tired adage goes. It's not always the dog in the fight; it's the amount of fight in the dog. So, and the Steve Willis quote that I live with this postseason: if the team has Iowa anywhere in their name, do not bet against them. Yeah, definitely. So it is definitely a team to keep an eye on. So I mean, if anybody could handle an Iowa named team, Virginia definitely is a great team. So I am taking Virginia in that game, but
now is that in your opinion now, is that the weakest side? Because you got Iowa State, Virginia, Gonzaga, Syracuse.
Not necessarily. Maybe.
Because I mean, if you take a look at the ones from yesterday, I mean, you've got a number 1 seed going up against number 2, and a number 1 seed going up against number 2. Here you could have a 4 going up against an 11 and a 7 going up against a 5.
Let me look at this.
Okay.
So, yeah, in the regions that we've got left,
right.
I think a lot of it's really going to depend on who wins tonight.
Yeah, well, I just look at the South and I look at the West. Kansas, Villanova, Oregon, Oklahoma.
Those are both really strong.
Those are 2 standout games.
Yeah, those are both really strong.
Now, on in the East, you got North Carolina, Indiana. One of them is going to be gone, and you're going to play Wisconsin or Notre Dame.
Right.
So, I mean, you drop down. Then down the Midwest, Virginia, Iowa State, and then you drop down to Syracuse, Gonzaga.
Which Gonzaga, once again, I'm not gonna. Don't let the 11 seed
No.
fool
I
you
understand.
on
I told you. I thought that they could have been a 4.
Let's put it this way: if Indiana and Wisconsin were to win, and Virginia and Gonzaga were to win, and it were to be IU.
Which would you say would be the weaker bracket?
I would say I could make a case for the East being the weaker of the 2 then at that point. I can make a case. It may not, I mean, it would probably be a little closer to toss-up, but I could make a case for the East being weaker. I think it would require, I think it'd require Notre Dame, it'd require North Carolina and Notre Dame to both be gone.
Here's the next question for you. Could we see 3 ACC teams in the Final Four? Let me see. We couldn't because we could see 2.
Yeah, you can see at the most 2.
Yeah, because on the other side, no.
Yeah, because on the other side you've got Big 12. Villanova is
Villanova Big East.
Yeah, Big East.
You got Pac-10, and you got Oklahoma's also
Big 12.
Yeah, so you got 2 big. You had 2 big. You could have you could have 2 Big 12s and 2 ACCs.
I could definitely see that happening too. I mean, Villanova whitewashed Miami, but they're not going to do that to Kansas. No. That's going to be that game's going to be close. That's going to be a very tight game.
I went to bed.
I see Oklahoma tearing through Oregon, though. I mean, Oklahoma right now. Yeah, Oklahoma right now is on a tear. They're so good.
Well, I listened to the game, the Oklahoma Virginia Commonwealth game, and VCU gave Oklahoma everything they could have. And Buddy Helt started out slow, he started out slow, finished very strong.
Right.
I sat there and I watched that Kansas-Maryland game. I watched the first half and went to bed. It was a 2-point game. I woke up and go, man, I got to see what the score was, because that had to be a close game all the way through. And see, Kansas won by 16. And Maryland was a beast. I mean, they've got some big, strong players, and to watch them get just whomped last night, the finish there. I don't know. Kansas is playing like a team possessed right now.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, they. Hold on, I'm just trying to scroll back to get to where I was. Yeah, Kansas has been, but then at the same time, Villanova is.
Oh yeah.
They've been running the floor on everybody.
They haven't had a close game yet.
Right, exactly. So
last night, what they shot 68% from 3-point last night.
Right, and once again, they haven't exactly had the easiest road here.
No.
Iowa and then Miami. So
I look at Kansas. Kansas played Austin Peay. Okay, then they played Connecticut. Connecticut was playing tough at the end of the season. Then you get Maryland. I mean, I look at that South region. That South region just it lived it lived right to where it should be. I mean, you had, the only one that wasn't the favorite was Maryland. Maryland was number 5 instead of the 4 of California, but California came in. They lost 2 players the week of the tournament.
Right.
After they were seeded 4th, the one guy broke his hand, I think, in practice before the tournament started, and another guy was out for some other reason.
Right.
So, the South, to me, it was probably the toughest. Coming into the Sweet 16, I thought the best 4. Yes, the you go down to the West, you had 1, 2, 3, 4 there, but I still think that I think the play up in the South was tremendous.
Yeah,
because I don't count Duke that high. I really don't. I
no,
really don't.
And if you look at if you look in the South, if you look at these 4 teams and who they had to beat to get there,
nobody. I mean, Duke,
in the South?
Yeah, in the South. I mean, Duke beat North Carolina, Wilmington, and Yale.
No, that's in the West.
Or the West. Yeah. Oh, in the West, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was agreeing with you in the South because if you look at Kansas had to beat Connecticut, Maryland had to beat Hawaii, which Hawaii was actually not that bad this year.
No, they weren't.
Wichita State, though, which was a very good 11 seed in Wichita State, Miami had to beat. And then, of course, Villanova had to take down Iowa, which they were a number 1 killer all year.
Right.
So
right.
I mean that's
but they were stinking it up at the end of the season.
Yeah, Iowa was falling apart at the end of the season, but at the same time they still had a lot of talent.
Yeah, they did.
So when you look at the South, the pedigree of the teams that are coming out of the South, Kansas and Villanova, they really speak to how tough that conference was. As far as the West goes, it's reasonably weak. Oklahoma didn't exactly have an easy time of it with VCU.
No, and I listened to that game. I was coming back from Chicago. I did my fantasy baseball draft.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound promising.
It's one of those ones where you either get done, you go, damn, that was a great team. You get done, you go, eh. and the thing is there's 10 of us in there, and we finished, and there was not one guy who said, yeah, that's pretty good. Everybody just goes, eh. And I looked at the teams, you get to see everybody's team afterwards, and I'm just going, oh, wow. Wow.
When you're 5 minutes after 5 minutes post draft, and you're already talking about trades you're going to make before the deadline.
Well, no, actually, see, we don't get trades, but what we do is we at the All-Star
there's no
break,
trade deadline, no trades.
No, we do no trades during the season. You pick your team, but we always pick.
What if somebody gets injured?
We have minor leaguers, but what we do at the All-Star break, we have 4 more rounds of drafting.
Really?
Yeah. So basically, what you can do is if you got that one guy that no one drafted, all of a sudden he turned into he's a 12-game winner, and your pitchers got hurt. Last year I was able to actually pick up Houston Street as my reliever.
Oh wow!
At the All-Star break because no one had picked him up.
Huh.
Houston Street, helped me to a second place finish in the draft in the league.
There you go.
So I mean, you can find someone like that. That's how that works. But I listened to Oklahoma VCU the whole way home because coming home on a Sunday afternoon in Chicago, you spend a lot of time in downtown Chicago. Just look at the car.
Sure do.
Just look at the car in front of you.
You certainly do.
So I mean, I got to listen to the whole game, and it was just, to me, Oklahoma. Yes, they end up winning the game, but I tell you, they were taken to the hill. VCU played it.
Don't get it twisted though. I mean, Oklahoma is not. It wasn't because of Oklahoma that game was close. It was because VCU was playing out of their mind in that game. They were playing so well.
But see, that's all it takes right now is you catch fire in a bottle for one game. And you can knock anyone out.
Right. Remember, hey, whoever wins the championship they just won 5 games straight. So.
Yeah, ask Yale.
Right.
I mean, how Yale wins that first game. I mean, all you got to do is just catch lightning in a bottle for that one game.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So I mean, it is a. This is why I love the NCAA tournament.
It's awesome.
Why I absolutely love it, and we're. We're going to have to take a break. It's good Lord. First hour's already up.
Well, there's a lot of basketball to talk, though.
That is a whole lot of basketball.
Yes.
It's my kind of show. I got to tell you.
Well, I'd much rather be talking the NCAAs and the NBA. You're the NBA fan. I love NCAA basketball.
Right now, the only real big story in the NBA is just the countdown to the Golden State Warriors breaking the record.
If
breaking the Bulls record. If they do it.
They're
they're starting to hiccup right now.
Yes, they are.
So, but I mean, there's so little anything in the NBA that's really dramatic right now. No. It's all kind of, we're just kind of going through the motions until the season ends and the second season begins.
And that's about it.
That is pretty much it. It's kind of the NHL's kind of the same. There's not a ton of stuff going on.
There are still some intriguing things coming down at the end of in NHL. I mean, there's still some nice seeds to be had, and some teams that are falling on some hard times. One being our local team here, falling on some hard times here towards the end of the season. They're starting to struggle. So, I mean, you may watch a defending Stanley Cup champion team maybe make it in as a wild card.
Boy, that
going from first place in their division down to a wild card.
How the mighty have fallen, huh?
Well, there was a point that was brought up a couple of weeks ago that I thought was interesting. They said in the last 6 years, the Chicago Blackhawks have played more games than any other team in NHL history.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that gives you an idea of how long they've been playing. And the one thing that people don't realize is that hockey doesn't end, until June.
Right.
And these guys start playing again then, in September. They start training camp September. They start playing in October. So you're taking maybe 2 months off, and that's it. And hockey, as demanding as it is, as physical as it is, and how these guys play with injuries, he has an upper body injury, but he's going to play. You get down with the Stanley Cup, and you find out the guy was playing with a lacerated spleen or something like that. Or I remember a couple years ago,
his stomach was outside of his body.
I can remember a couple years ago, the one guy played with a broken wrist.
Right.
And he was a center.
Right.
The guy taking the face-offs, he has a broken wrist, and he's still out there playing.
That's incredible. Yeah. Vicodin's a hell of a drug, I gotta say. Anyhow, we got to get to a break. When we come back, hour 2 begins, and we'll let you know what's happening on the other side of that. You're listening to the Cheap Seats, XCRS Radio.
XCRS Radio, take it with you when you go. Laptop, car, or on the phone. Extras Radio on the net.
Hi, my name's Dan Allen, and I like XCRS Radio.
Life is meant to be savored. If you find the reason, Morgan's and the Little Black Dog Tavern in downtown Mishawaka, Indiana will make it special. From the casual European atmosphere to the high-end tavern fare, Morgan's and the Little Black Dog Tavern give you the chance to savor every day. Stop in and savor your day with your choice of a wide variety of drinks, from a classic martini to the best beers from local breweries. Savor your day on the patio, or come in and enjoy a glass of wine with some of our mouth-watering entrees. We're located in the historic Cam Brewery Stable Building in the 100 Center in downtown Mishawaka, Indiana. Call 574-807-0101 for reservations. Like us on Facebook to find out today's food and drink specials, or stop by our website at morgansandlbd.com. Drink in the moments, feast on the memories, savor every day at Morgan's and the Little Black Dog Tavern.
Option 5, located in Mishawaka, Indiana, specializes in hand-built boutique guitar effects pedals. Option 5 has been producing the highest quality pedals right here in northern Indiana since 2002, and they continue to create original, non-copy designs today. Option 5 is not simply tweaking popular pedals and then slapping their name on them. They're producing groundbreaking effects designed for guitarists of all styles. And Option 5 doesn't just build cool pedals. They provide top-notch repair service as well. Option 5 repairs pedals and PA equipment, can modify and retube amplifiers, and service or repair Hammond organs and Leslie speakers. If you're looking for the highest quality effects pedals and the best in repair and customer service, check out Option 5 in Mishawaka at 1126 East Jefferson. Give them a call at 574-255-6539 or online at option5effects.com. That's option5effects.com. Option 5. Let tone abound.
Hey, this is Maximus and the Bartender. Make sure you're checking out our brand new show bringing sports talk to you right here live on Extras Radio.
Tune in every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. for all the latest sports news. NFL, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it, we got it.
And make sure you check Extras Radio out on Facebook as well.
You can get there through xersradio.com.
And we are back, the Cheap Seats on XERS Radio, Hour 2, and we are coming to you live and in person. But if for whatever reason you haven't been able to hear us live and in person, or you don't have time to hear us live and in person, you can check us out anytime on Spreaker or iHeartRadio. Just go right to your phone. Download the Spreaker app from the Google Play Store or the Apple... what is that? I don't know. I've never had an iPhone. So what is that, like the Apple Store?
It's just the App Store.
Is that what it is? Yeah. The App Store? Okay. So there you go. Just go right from the App Store or go right from the Google Play Store for your Android phone and download the Spreaker app, or you can download the iHeartRadio app. And when you pull that up, type in the Cheap Seats, and you will find us on there. And you can check out all the archived shows. You can check us out. Every show gets posted about 10 minutes after the show has ended. So if you tuned in late, don't worry. Stick around a little bit after 8 o'clock. You pull it up, and you can listen to it right from the beginning.
And if it's not there, I'm calling Mr. Wilson saying, hey, where's that tape at? Get it up there.
It is up before I leave the studio.
Right.
It is. I have made it a rule. I used to be really bad about that.
Yes, you did.
I used to be like, oh, yeah, Sunday afternoon, maybe I'll go and put it on there.
And I'd be going, hey, where is that show at?
Yeah, I got like, dozens of people that want to hear it, hundreds, thousands.
I got hundreds of thousands of friends. I got hundreds of thousands of followers on my Twitter page that you don't have.
I doubt that.
And they're all asking for it. What?
However, it is up every...
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and
it's up before I get home.
Yeah, every episode is up. Every episode is ready to listen to. You can also check it out on YouTube, strangely enough. I found that out.
Really?
It automatically posts to YouTube.
I did not know that.
Which is really funny because YouTube...
Are we YouTubers now?
Well, I kind of always have been. I've got a few... I actually have... What's really funny is I actually have a couple of videos on YouTube that have just like completely taken off.
Really?
And I didn't know. I had one where my youngest daughter, Kaylee, when she was, I want to say, just a year old, we were at a McDonald's restaurant. And Ronald McDonald happened to be there.
Hey, there he is, the big guy.
And he came in. He snuck up behind Kaylee a little bit. Did he scare the crap
out of her? Did he?
He immediately is like, "Hi, girls," like that. And Kaylee like turns around and looks up at him, and she sees this big red-haired, white-faced clown in a yellow jumpsuit.
That's scary right there.
And being a 1-year-old, obviously she was frightened. So she turns and looks at the camera. And just her face, that baby squint when they know they're about to cry. Her face squints up, and she just lets out this god awful, blood curdling cry that you can do nothing as a parent. You can do nothing because she's okay. Right. You can do nothing but laugh at, and you're like, "Oh, sweetie, it's okay."
And Ronald McDonald's sitting there going, "Oh,
no!" Ronald McDonald's all like, "Here, you want a sticker?" And he's like putting a sticker in front of her, and she's not having it.
Oh no! Oh no!
But But that video,
he's like, I'll take the French fries,
on
sir.
on a whim, I happened to post that video. Just like it was one of those things, like, oh, hey, this is funny, let's throw this up there. And I had headlined it. Ronald McDonald scares the crap out of my kid because that's what happened, right? I go the other day. I was looking at. I was like, hey, I'm looking at my YouTube channel. I'm like, oh, hey, look at all these hits. And I look at that video. That video has like 6,000 views.
Wow!
Which once again, it is a 1 minute video. I had not scripted, had no intention of really doing anything with it.
And McDonald's will be contacting Mr. Willis to pull that video down.
So over 6,000 views now, comments from all over the world. And I'm like, are you serious? This is the kind of stuff that goes viral. So I thought that was funny. I mean, it's not like a million hit thing or whatever, but I thought it was pretty cool. Anyhow.
Anyway, back to the sporting news.
Yeah, anyhow, let's go back to, let's talk about what we get paid.
I kind of enjoyed that. Were we getting paid?
Yeah, well, I wasn't supposed to tell you, but.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's just me. Yeah, you work pro bono.
I guess Sonny Bono? No, he's dead. He's dead. I don't want anything. Chastity, no.
You wouldn't want Cher either anymore. Look at her.
Okay. I'm older than you, so, it doesn't,
Talk about smacking a leather saddle.
Well, hey, she's got a lot of gold. She's got a lot of gold in that saddle, remember?
All right. Let's go to NFL rule changes. The NFL owners' meetings obviously kicked off this month to start the new season, 2016 season, and there were some rule changes voted on. So let's take a look.
First one. Permanently moves the line of scrimmage to try kicks to the defensive team's 15-yard line and allows the defense to return any missed try.
And we saw that was going down.
The defense,
we kind of assumed that was going to be
the defense had the chance to return the try.
Yeah,
so
yes, they did.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Next one. Permits the offensive and defensive play callers on the coaching staffs to use the coach-to-player communication system regardless of whether they are on the field or in the coach's booth.
So the
coach can actually be up in the booth because normally you had to be on the sideline to talk to the person on the field. Now they're saying they can talk to them up in the booth.
So they can use the headsets to communicate up in the booth.
Up in the booth to the person on the field.
The New England Patriots probably love that idea.
Yep. This is what I love. Makes all chop blocks illegal.
All chop
blocks.
I thought you said it was just
that's what I thought, but it says makes all chop blocks illegal.
All chop blocks are illegal.
Which I like that idea.
Yeah,
that saves a lot. Saves a lot of knees.
Yeah, I'm good with that because really, you take guys' knees out, and I mean, you're costing somebody a career. That's almost as bad as a headshot sometimes.
Okay, here we go. The Vontaze Burfict law disqualifies a player who is penalized twice in one game for certain types of unsportsmanlike conduct fouls.
I really like that.
That's
rule.
amended to 1 year only. Okay, so it's the first year for that.
I really like that rule, though, because if you get somebody, you get a dirty player.
Right.
And he gets a personal foul, 2 personal fouls for unsportsmanlike conduct, doing something, maybe like stepping on somebody's face, like an Ndamukong Suh kind of thing.
Yeah, a late hit to the quarterback or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Get him out of there. Yep. Get him out of there before he hurts somebody.
Changes the spot of the next snap after a touchback, resulting from a free kick to the 25-yard line from the 20. That's a 1 year only rule right now.
That is something. I mean, I get it. They're trying to just do away with the return
and that's it.
Game.
They're trying to give it more incentive to not run the ball out.
Right.
And take it to 25 instead of starting at 20. And I understand that with all the litigation that's out there now for injuries and concussions, most of the damage that ever happens on a football field happens on the kickoffs.
And if you're going to do that, okay, I get it. The kickoff is a big part of the excitement of the game.
Why kick off?
But just, quit kicking off then. If you're going to make it so hard to return the ball,
no,
just quit doing it.
No, because the Packers can only get down to the 1 yard line, so...
No, in all seriousness, though,
I know. I agree.
Just get rid of the kickoff. Just start it at the 20 or 25 yard line.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Expands the horse collar rule to include when a defender grabs a jersey at the nameplate or above and pulls a runner toward the ground. So that's even on the front.
I don't really necessarily like that, because sometimes when you're going after somebody, all you can get a hold of is whatever your flailing arms can make contact with. We're starting to get so narrowed down that you're gonna the only legal tackle is gonna be between the middle of the rib cage and the hips, and you can't grab anybody in any other spot, otherwise it's an automatic penalty. I don't like this. I don't like that as much as the hands to the face mask of the quarterback rule. I hate that, because if you're being backed into a quarterback, or you're trying to reach for a quarterback and your arm gets knocked upwards by an offensive lineman and you happen to brush their face mask, it's a 15-yard penalty.
Well, but the problem is
stuff like that is ridiculous.
And I understand that, but how then do you do you separate that happening and the guy that comes down and just wails on the quarterback's face mask with his arm?
I got to be honest. Even though you are talking about seconds in time,
right?
You can context is everything.
I understand, but
intent can be figured out really quickly.
But the thing is that that's where you have to. Some of these rules you have to have it as black and white as possible.
Right.
And that's where we come into the most confusing rule out there is it a legal catch? How many times has that gone through the ringer?
Let me give you this. We had a intentional, unintentional penalty set at one point. You remember the face mask? You had the 5-yard and the 15-yard face mask. The 5-yard was incidental contact to the face mask. 15-yard was intentional, like grabbing and pulling the face mask. We had that already. It worked. Why they took it away, I thought was ridiculous. We could do that again. We could do that with the horse collar. We could do that with the face mask to the quarterback. We could do that again. You can call things intentional, unintentional. If I'm trying to grab at a quarterback and my arm gets knocked in such a way that I accidentally hit his head or accidentally hit his helmet, or I get hit from the side and I bump into the quarterback, that's not intentional, and you can see that on the field.
Right.
You can see that at full speed on the field. That is not hard to do. But if I'm bearing down on the quarterback and I throw my arms up and I swat at him and I hit him in the face, okay, that's intentional.
Right.
That's intentional. I've seen the same 15-yard flag for both situations, and that is sickening.
I understand what you're saying, but you're going to get down to that point when someone's going, well, wait a minute. There was no intent there. There was no. Well, yes, there was intent. Well, who's determining intent? Well, I am. Well,
that's why you pay the referees, $200,000 a year to referee 16 games.
And that's why they're talking. There's also talk about making the NFL officials full-time.
I absolutely love that idea. Yeah. I love that idea.
Next one. Make it a foul for delay of game when a team attempts to call a timeout when it's not permitted to do so.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. You should know how many timeouts you have and when you're allowed to take them.
No. When they call a timeout when they're not allowed to do so.
That's what I just said. Okay. You should know not only how many timeouts you have left, but when you're allowed to take them.
Yes.
Because the same thing. This is and this actually goes into the NBA, but there is a rule for that in the NBA. Right. It's a technical foul if you call a timeout and you don't have one.
Yes.
It is a tech.
That.
So,
but I thought right now there was actually even a worse. I think this was a lightening of this. I thought this was kind of a dumbing down of the original. I thought that there was a harsher penalty.
No,
that they tried to, because I remember when who was it? Was it on a Thanksgiving game? I think in Detroit. They tried to call. Well, I don't think that was a timeout. I think that's when they called for a review.
Yeah, they asked for a review
on a non-reviewable play.
On an unreviewable play. Yeah,
and something happened with that.
There was a penalty for that. I think that was a delay of game as well.
And they lost a timeout. There's something else that happened to them too.
I don't know. I'd have to go back. Was that this last year?
No, that was a couple years ago.
Oh, I was going to say that's the Detroit-Kansas City game. I would have had that.
Next one. Eliminates the 5-yard penalty for an eligible receiver illegally touching a forward pass after being out of bounds and reestablishing himself inbounds and makes it just a loss of down.
Wait. Hold on.
Okay, if an eligible receiver goes out of bounds,
all right,
and then comes back in and illegally touches a forward pass,
okay,
says illegally touching a forward pass after being out of bounds and reestablishing himself. Remember, once you go out of bounds and come back in, you can't be the first one to touch the ball.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So it used to be that it was a 5-yard penalty. Now it's a loss of down.
6 1/2 dozen the other to me. I actually like that better, though, because that is actually a more harsh penalty.
Oh, it is. It is.
So I do like that better because that would eliminate that, trying to get open by, taking a couple of steps out of bounds.
But here's the thing. What if
which doesn't happen very often.
What if you're knocked out of bounds? If the defensive player knocks you out of bounds.
I think the same rule applies.
See, and that to me, then I don't agree with. Because
if you're lining up that close to the sideline, there's a problem.
Well, no,
already.
I mean, you
got to give yourself room to move.
Well, let's say you're 5 yards from the out of bounds, and you're running down, and the defensive player is pushing you out of bounds.
Well, then, as a professional wide receiver, you need to figure out how to battle that.
Well, I would understand that.
And you need to give your quarterback a spot to throw the football. So, I mean, to me, the football field is 52.5 yards wide. You can figure out where you can stand that you're not going to get run out of bounds.
There's some big boys out there.
Yeah.
So eliminates multiple spots of enforcement for a double foul after a change of possession.
That sounds like a Jeopardy question. Try that again.
Well, eliminates multiple spots of enforcement for a double foul after a change of possession. So if you punt the ball and they get it and there's a double foul on it, then they do the whole we go here, then we go there, and everything else.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. And that's one of those, once again, not going to see it happen a whole lot, but,
And then makes
it a little easier for the game counters.
And they had one rules proposal that was tabled, and that was expanding reviewable plays.
See, and that, it depends on what they were wanting to expand upon.
Well, and I there's some plays that should be reviewed, and there's some that go, well, that's not a reviewable play.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Depending on what they wanted to make reviewable. There are some judgment calls out there, in my opinion. They should still remain judgment calls. I've always said the human element sucks. It's terrible because, obviously even the best professional referees make mistakes.
No.
Yeah, come on. I know you find that hard to believe.
I think we saw last year in the NFL why they should have full-time officials because
absolutely.
It was, in my opinion, probably the worst officiating year I've ever seen in the NFL.
It's almost conspiracy theory like.
It was
really
it
like
was,
they intentionally wanted it to be that bad so they could be full-time employees.
Wasn't last year probably one of the worst officiating seasons?
I absolutely agree.
I mean, I just there were so many games you're just going, really? They called that one? They didn't call that one?
Right.
And it went back and forth. But I think what's happened is I think with the advent of replay and the advent of the reviews and everything else, I think this is in all sports. I think the officials, they're so gun shy to make calls. They're so gun shy to do things because when I do make that call, if I'm wrong even by a millisecond, I'm going to get lambasted and baked, and I'm just going to get crucified in the press and by other teams and everything else. I remember when baseball was just a bang bang play. Hey, that was their call. That was it. And most of the time at that time, they got it right. Were there some mistakes? Yeah, there were. But when you start taking that away, and I think in the NFL you saw that too. I mean, back in the day when they didn't have replay, you'd have every now and then you'd have a play that really was, you'd go, wow. But I tell you, I think that there was a lot better officiating at that time than what we're seeing now. I can
tell you this. First of all, officiating is better when the rules are simple. The rules have become more convoluted.
Terribly.
In NFL, in the NFL in particular, the NBA is bad on that too. It's gotten a lot worse now. But
in the NBA, I'd just like to have one guy called traveling. Just one.
That ain't never gonna happen.
I know. Just one.
Especially if he's a superstar. He gets like 18 steps.
Did you?
You run from the half. If you're Steph Curry, you can run with the ball in your hand from the half-court line, and nobody's going to bat an eye.
Last night, and at the time officiating, I was watching the Maryland Kansas game.
Right.
The Maryland guy got the ball. I believe it was that game. Yeah, he got the ball. Did that? He intercepted the pass, breakaway at the midcourt line, took a dribble. Picked the ball up in two hands, dribbled again, and went in for the slam.
What?
Yeah, he actually controlled the ball with both hands, dribbled again, went in for the slam.
Nobody caught that.
As he slammed, he swung around because the Kansas guy went right by him. He got called for a technical foul.
But he didn't get called for the travel.
He did not get called for the double dribble. No, he didn't. I mean, he dribbled twice, picked up the ball in two hands, and dribbled again. He caught it as it came up, and dribbled. And they were, and the broadcast goes, wait a minute, did he just double dribble? Did they not miss it? They showed the replay and going, yeah, look at this. He never should have got to the point of having the technical foul. They never should have got the technical foul because of this, because it wasn't a technical foul because the guy went by him, but it never should have gotten there.
That is ridiculous.
It was an NCAA tournament game.
Was that an NIT game?
No. That was Maryland, Kansas.
Oh my goodness!
It was unbelievable. Look, you're gonna have to check it out because it
reminds me of that. That reminds me of that State Farm commercial where Brett or who is it? No, Aaron Rodgers is talking with that official.
Yes,
he's like,
only 26 million people on TV. Yeah. Also, yeah.
Like, I can't believe I blew that call.
Because did you see the play? And I didn't say, you're going to do the bobbling hands, and you're going to do this. And
I love that commercial.
That. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. State Farm sponsor of the Cheap Seats, by the way.
Yes, that's right.
So, that was all the rules then?
Yeah, that was all the rules.
So they haven't really. I mean, no big surprises really. If you think about it, as far as the rules changes goes, nothing. I mean, there was. We're not talking anything monumental like, the introduction of instant replay was or anything like that. The extra point thing, I mean, we kind of knew that was going to happen.
Right.
That wasn't there was no outcry to not make it happen. And we had the trial run last year and it seemed to go rather well. I didn't really hear any major complaints.
Right.
So I don't really see like anything. I mean, it's been pretty vanilla, I would say, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
The chop block thing I really like.
I really like that.
I really like that. The taking the ball out to the 25. I mean, to just eliminate the kickoffs.
I agree.
Just eliminate kickoffs. If you're going to do this, just eliminate them. There's no point in messing around with it and taking the ball out to the 25 and all this other garbage. And just do take away the extra point or the kickoff.
Right. I agree.
Start each offense at the 20-yard line. I'm surprised we didn't hear any kind of revisions to the overtime rule.
And that's and I think that's long overdue. I really do. To be honest with you, I love the college game. I love the college overtime. I really do.
A lot of people do. A lot of people think that the NFL should implement.
And I agree because the thing is, you're starting at the 35. Both teams get a shot at the ball. Now, I mean, you've got to a point to where you could have a team go down, get a fluke play, someone falls down, they score a touchdown, and the game's over. And it's not a skill player or something like that. Someone just someone slips on a turf or something like that, and you've got a touchdown. The other team never gets to see the ball. Right now with the college rules, at least everyone has a shot at getting the ball.
Yeah, this is true, but fluke plays are part of the. I mean, that's kind of part of the game.
It is, but I don't want to see a game that was played, nail the nail all the way for 4 quarters, get to an overtime situation. I don't care who it is, and have it decided on a fluke play at that time because either someone slipped on on the field, something happened, whatever, and all of a sudden you've got to a point to where. You lose a game where it's a 10-10 game that they battle back.
What's the difference? What's the difference between that and it happening on the last second of the game, a fluke play?
Because then it was leased in regulation.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't see that being much of a difference.
If you get to overtime, I mean, it's even like hockey. Hockey went to the 3-on-3, overtime. To add a little bit more excitement to get away from the shootouts.
I will even give you the fluke play thing, but to be perfectly honest, in overtime, if you can't stop a team from driving down and scoring a touchdown, not a field goal, but a touchdown, now I don't think it's necessary for you to get the ball and make an attempt to go down and score a matching touchdown. You've got a defense.
See, and that's
you've got a defense. Go stop them.
And that's where you and I disagree on that.
Yeah, I know. I don't think we're ever going to agree. I mean, to me personally, you got a defense. They've been playing the entire game. Go stop them.
I understand. I just think once you've played that far, once you've gone into overtime, it should be to the point where each team, because what you're relying on there now is you're relying on a coin flip. You're relying on a coin flip to who gets the ball first.
Well, you're relying on a coin flip
to begin the game. You are relying on a coin flip to begin the game. And the thing is you didn't do another coin flip at the second half. What you did was whoever lost the coin flip at the first half got the ball to start the second half.
And when you went into overtime,
in
sudden death overtime, the old rules of overtime, a coin flip, decided the game 90% of the time anyway.
Yes, it did, and it doesn't mean that I agreed with it. If a coin flip, if you do the coin flip at the beginning of the game to decide who wants the ball first, who has a choice, you still have a second half where the other team that lost has that ability to make that choice. At the end of the overtime, you don't know, you flip the coin, you get it. We don't have a second overtime where we flip the coin again. You play sudden death. I mean, whereas you allowed at the beginning of the game, you say, it's decided by a coin flip. No, I still had my chance to begin the second half. At the end of overtime, I don't.
Like I said, agree to disagree.
Yeah, and we do on that.
There you go.
That happens.
So, we are going to hit a break.
Where's that Bill McDonald at?
I don't know.
He's letting us down.
You know what? I think he's wasted away in Margaritaville.
We sent him down to Florida for a reason.
Yeah.
We sent him down on our buck. He's going off.
Isn't that terrible?
Of our budget.
I know. That's horrible. Well, wait. That might be why he hasn't contacted us. We didn't tell him how we sent him that, we didn't say we didn't necessarily mention the part about going on saddleback on an old rented mule.
Well, that's true, but should we have told him what we've done here at the studio?
No, probably not.
Okay,
no, let's not mention that. Okay. Hopefully we'll get it all cleaned up by the time he comes back. Anyhow, 3 quarters down, 1 quarter to go. We're going to figure out why in the hell Bumgardner went nuts last night. We're going to talk about that next. This is the Cheap Seats, XERS Radio.
Broadcasting to the 4 corners of the earth, Michiana Edge, every Sunday night, 7 p.m., XERSradio.com.
You stick with it, and you're passionate about it, you'll get better.
Climb aboard Starship Comedy and join co-hosts Adam Nielsen and
your beloved comedian, Colton Cole,
as we boldly go where no internet radio team from Michiana has gone before.
I am a legend from the future.
We will travel to the comedy underworld so you will know where's the show.
I miss when drinking was fun, though. You know what I mean? Like, before it was like a problem. You know?
If it's funny or it's cool, we will cover it. Hey. See what I did there?
I was sent from space.
Dude, that's gold.
Just like my jokes.
Your mama must be so proud.
Why can't you love me?
Hi, I'm John Brasser from Team Consulting, Inc. At Team Consulting, we can help your business navigate the maze of governmental regulations that can be overwhelming for any business. We offer over 60 years of experience in environmental engineering, safety consultation, and ISO 9001 quality solutions. We're located right here in Michiana. Give us a call at 574-229-0927. Tell them you heard it on XERS Radio.
Hey ladies, tired of the same old story? Getting promised all this big meat only to find out it's just the same old average helping? You need someone that can satisfy all your cravings.
You know what she needs? She needs some Scoobies.
Scoobies, oh yeah.
Scoobies at 223 North Main Street in downtown Mishawaka can satisfy all your cravings with freshly made subs, pasta, sandwiches, and even homemade cheesecake.
Cheesecake too? I think I'm in love.
And you'll be in love with the great menu that Scoobies has to offer with specialties like their very own chicken, bacon, and ranch sub. And right now, for the summertime, Michiana's best tasting Chicago dog featuring a quarter-pound all-beef hot dog.
That's more than a mouthful.
And if you need something to wash down all that meat, mention you heard this advertisement on XERS Radio and get a free drink with any purchase.
Ladies, you won't be disappointed with this 7-inch.
That's Scoobies, downtown Mishawaka, home of the biggest 7-inch around.
Danielle Slav from Cheers Pub here. If you're looking for the best live music in Michiana, Cheers Pub is for you. Established in 1982, Cheers has become a well-known venue featuring local, regional, and national acts. Hard rock, metal, indie, and classic rock music is featured weekly on our newly remodeled stage. We have karaoke on Wednesday nights, drink specials nightly, 4 Horsemen Pizza, and a full menu to curb your appetite. We're open 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. Monday through Saturday. Located at 103 Dixie Way South in Roseland. Cheers Pub, where friends become family.
And we're back to wrap it up. The Cheap Seats final half an hour. We are officially in the fourth quarter.
I was going to wrap it up. We still got a half hour to go here, bud.
Yeah,
we still got a lot of talk.
Hey, we're in the fourth quarter.
That's right. And we are not going to overtime tonight. Well,
no.
We could.
No, we're not.
Okay. just some pleasant thoughts on my side.
Yeah. Anyhow,
because I say we don't play enough.
Anyhow, if you agree or disagree, or you just want to read some of the quirky things that we post, why don't you check us out on Facebook? Go check us out on Facebook and just go to Facebook, search The Cheap Seats with Steve on Facebook, and you can enjoy all the goofy stuff that we like to post on our Facebook page. You can also follow us on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @TCSWillis. And Mr. Detterman here?
I have no idea.
It's @SP Detterman.
That's right. It is.
So what'd you just show me? I'm sorry,
we got early scores. The NCAA, Virginia on top of Iowa State, 29-15 with 8:51 left in the first half. Wisconsin early 2-0 lead over Notre Dame. Already a minute and a half gone in that game. Wow. Only 2 points. Brandon Koenig.
Really?
Koenig with the bomb. Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Up 2-2 now. So it's just the score is just changing back and forth. It's going really quick, Steve.
Defensive struggle.
And in NHL, or I should say NHL, NCAA hockey, 2-1 Notre Dame over Michigan after 2. So one more period there.
One period to go.
Hey, Notre Dame, they want to go back to the Frozen Four again.
There you go. All right, so did you watch the Giants and the Cubs in preseason baseball?
I didn't watch the game. I watched the replay and I read about it. It was quite interesting.
I don't really understand this is the kind of antics that go on, in like a heated divisional rivalry, or the kind of thing that happens maybe in a playoff game or something like that.
These are two of your favorites in the NL this year.
It's true. That's true. The Cubs obviously are the big favorite in the National League. And then the San Francisco Giants, of course, being...
Of course, their year, because the way they work with their World Series appearances.
Right. They are very... they're very much a favorite. But Bumgarner on the mound
Madison
last night.
Bumgarner, yeah.
And he just, emotional does not do it justice. Crazy is probably more along the lines.
He is one of your more competitive pitchers out there. This is a guy that, he shows his emotions. He is just
I've never seen him so animated in preseason baseball, though.
Well, you hardly see anyone more. But, yeah, he was facing Jason Haywood.
Right.
At the plate. I believe it was Dexter Fowler was on second.
Yes, Dexter Fowler had just hit it. He had actually got, it was a single with an error out to left, and Dexter Fowler sitting on second base. And from what it appeared like Fowler may have been sending some signs to Hayward when he was at the plate. The way it looked to me, Hayward struck out looking.
He struck out looking, and it seemed like he said something out to Fowler.
Right. And, of course, Bumgarner
hears this.
Yeah, well, Bumgarner is between the two of them. Yeah. And Bumgarner thinks that Hayward is looking and talking to him. You can see the words. You can see him, you can't hear him, but you can see his mouth say, "Are you talking to me?" And as he started approaching the plate, of course, Hayward, is starting to go back towards the dugout, and he turns and he sees Bumgarner coming at him.
He kind of points at Fowler and says something.
Yeah, he points at Fowler, and he's like talking like,
so,
I was talking to him. I wasn't talking to you. And, and then everything clears up after that. Apparently.
Bumgarner turned around and said, basically said, okay, that's fine. Turn around and start walking back to the mound.
Right. And so apparently, whatever happened there,
did you see after that what happened after that?
I did not see what happened after that.
Haywood continued to go all of a sudden he went nuts. He was pissed then. And, he was more animated going back in the dugout, because Bumgarner, okay, you weren't talking to me, that's fine. But what it came down to is it came down to that Bumgarner thought that they were stealing signals.
Right, which they were.
And I'm sorry. Yeah, that's part of the game. It's been part of baseball is a game of cheating.
Absolutely.
You talk about the spitball. You talk about putting a little pine tar here. You go back and forth. Baseball is a game of who can get away with the cheating
right
a little bit better.
There has been sign stealing since there has been signs.
Well, remember what the Cubs with the big scoreboard out in center field. The guy's out there with binoculars and he's out there stealing our signs and radioing into the dugout and everything. Right. How many times did that go on?
Right. This is not some big crazy thing. Which is also why I've always been the one to stand up and say, hey, whether you like them or hate them, PEDs is just another version of cheating amongst baseball.
Did you ever cheat in sports?
Absolutely, every chance you got.
What did you do?
Usually, it's just trying to maybe say something. If I played defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I used to like to do is I would like to talk to the opposing offensive lineman, just in an attempt to try and get in his head or make him flinch or just say something. Sometimes it'd just be a simple, hey. Like that. Just to try and get him to jump, try and get him to move. It worked once in a while. It would work. And every once in a while, I'd get a referee, they'd be like, hey, all right, knock it off, or I'm going we get you for, encroachment or whatever. They'd say they'd throw a flag on me for something. I never actually ended up getting a flag as a result of it. But, things like that, there's always, if you're at the bottom of a scrum, there's always the thumb in the eye or trying to,
I never
pull
did
at
that.
the ball or something like that.
I did have that happen to me once.
And it happens. There are, you've got a bunch of guys who are competitive.
Right.
All playing a sport. In basketball, I've done, the illegal hand check, the push off move, stuff like that. I'll be dribbling. Somebody's trying to box me out. I'll be bringing the ball, and I'm obviously being a very tall guy. I wasn't coming up the court with the ball. It usually ended up being in the paint somewhere.
Right.
And I would have that, that move where I'd take a half a step, come the other way, and I'd push off on the guy a little bit. But of course my hand is inside and we're hip to hip. So that little push off, you don't really see it. Just looks like I'm backing down for a little fadeaway shot, and you just kind of push off on somebody. I've done that, so it's not like, we're not talking major cheating things, but little minor things, gamesmanship is what I actually refer it to.
Gamesmanship. There you go.
It really is. I mean, it honestly is, and everybody does, a little something. Think about it. Last time you were out on a golf course, when, how many times have you used your foot wedge to get out of trouble? Stuff like that.
Yeah, we've done that. We go out and we play in some of these tournaments.
Right.
We play in these benefit tournaments and that.
Right.
And we're unlike a lot of the other banks. The other bankers, they go out and they play maybe 3 or 4 times a week or whatever.
Right.
Our first time out in the course is when we go to one of these tournaments, and all these teams have these ringers. Where you get done with 18, they got like a 54.
Right.
Right. We come in with a solid 78 or something like that, and it's also been where we use the foot wedge a couple of times and go, hey, yeah, we understand. Go ahead and hit that one again. Okay, hey, that putt came within 3 inches. It looked good to me. It's okay. We'll count it. That was good.
Right.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Football. I did I played nose guard. Okay, and I did a couple times the dirt up.
Oh yeah, throw the dirt in the face.
The dirt up. I did that a couple times. I only had one official ever say anything to me about it. I actually playing. I actually grabbed one of the linemen by their jersey as I was going by and dragged and pulled him down to the ground.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know any defensive player that hasn't done that.
No,
as many times as what you get your jersey grabbed on.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I'm just saying, turnabout's a little bit of fair play.
The only
there.
problem is, when the play's all the way at the other end, and this guy's been kicking your tail for most of the game, and you just kind of reach over and grab him and just kind of pull him down and kind of fall on him a little bit harder than what you should have.
You do that. I mean, there's. I'm not saying it hasn't happened.
No.
There are plenty of plays like that, especially for a defensive player. You think about it. Here's a very good example. When an interception happens. Now, you played defense, I played defense. When an interception happens.
I was a small school. You played both ways.
Okay, well,
you had to.
I played strictly defense.
Yeah.
I went to a little bit bigger school, but I don't know. I mean, we had like 75 people on our football team. The fact that I even played was pretty good.
Well, we only had 54 kids in my whole senior class.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That gives you an idea.
So, big difference between schools.
Yes, it was.
So, anyhow, when you have, like somebody, like somebody catches an interception,
right?
All of a sudden, it's go time.
Oh, it is.
You're headhunting. You're looking for somebody. You're looking for that offensive line and that tackle that was all over you all night. And this is your chance to square him up and drive him into the ground. And, it doesn't matter if it's right in, if it's within the boundaries of that play or not, you're going after him.
Right.
That or that quarterback that's just, no matter how many times you try to get to him, as soon as you got your hands on him, the ball is out.
Oh, yeah.
This is your chance to say, you know what, you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that interception and a few others that you didn't throw. So, there is that. You have that element, though. That element is there. If you don't play football, or if you play football and you don't have a little bit of crazy in you.
Well, you have to when you play football, you do. And I had, I can remember playing, and the thing is I go back to when you first learn. When you first start your freshman, sophomore year. I had a great coach that had back there. Coach Rocco was, in fact, birthdays either yesterday or today. Happy birthday, Coach Rocco. He does listen to the show, by the way.
There you go.
This guy, I mean, he was one of my Bill's calling in now.
Yeah, look at this.
He was probably one of my favorite coaches of all time I had. But I mean, what he did was he actually, when he was out there coaching, he would actually put on the pads and come out and play.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that was something when you learn. But I mean, those are the type of things that get you want to play football. But yes, football is a very emotional, very physical type of thing, and it's how to control that. And
right.
I can remember one of the things he did when we played. There was this one running back in this other team, and this guy killed our team when I was in 8th grade. Killed the team, ran for like 300-400 yards.
Right.
It was like one of our first games of the year, and he took this big dummy block and put it out in the middle of the field. And he goes, "That's that kid. That's this kid's name."
Sorry, can I get?
Wow, I heard him there.
Oh,
he said, "That's his kid's name." He said, "Whenever I mention his name, you have to run over there and you have to tackle that dummy."
Right.
And so here we are in the game. I mean, this all of a sudden during the middle of practice goes, get so and so, and everybody take off and they have to run. If you were the last one there, it's like you run a lap or something like that.
Right.
We got to that game. You talk about kids hitting this other kid, throughout the game, whether it was legal or illegal. It was like, there's him, get him. He doesn't have the ball. Get him, knock him down. So I mean, it was, it's a lot of emotion, and it's a game of emotion and hitting. Wow.
What?
We got his answer machine, did we?
Yeah, right. We got his voicemail. He tried to call me, so I tried to call him back.
So we got his voicemail. But that's something about football. You talk about. I mean, yes, you're going to have times where you will have hits like that. Do we got Bill now?
I think so.
Hey,
here he is. Hold on a second. Let's get him on. Here we go. Hold on. Here's the one and only Bill McDonald. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. We just got catching about 3 pounds of fish out in the Gulf today. We took it to a restaurant. They fried it up. We just had a fish fry.
Oh, that's
fantastic. What kind of fish you get there, Bill? Halibut?
What's that?
Yes, what kind of fish you got?
What kind of fish you got?
Yeah. Hey, we went to the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game yesterday in Sarasota. Great game. Baltimore won it in the bottom of the ninth with a run across. They were tied 5-5, and they played most of their starters. We saw Machado and Trumbo and Jones and Davis. It was a good game.
How about on the Pittsburgh side? Like McCutcheon and those guys all play too?
McCutcheon didn't play, but most of the other starters did play. Okay. I'm not real familiar with a lot of them. Figueroa, the shortstop, played. Florman, the second baseman. Matt Joyce played in left field, and Don Jaso at first base. It was a good game. 5-5, bottom of the ninth. They got to run across a walk-off single.
Oh, good deal. So, any other games you watch, or was that the one, or what?
We in Lakeland. We went to see Detroit and the Blue Jays, and it was a long game. And Toronto ended up winning 16-1.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's a whole lot of offense.
I mean, Toronto is one of the favorites out east with all the big bats they got with Encarnacion, Batista, Donaldson. Did all those boys play?
Encarnacion did not play. Tulowitzki hit a home run.
Okay.
Goins hit a home run, and then one of the other Donaldson hit a home run. I believe.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome stuff.
But it was 16-1. It was kind of a lopsided game. The game yesterday was much more entertaining.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, but the cold ones were flowing though, right?
What's that?
As long as the cold ones were flowing, there was no need for the score.
Oh yeah. The beers were flowing, and I'll tell you what. I mean, tickets are like $21. We sat right behind the home plate yesterday for $21.
Wow.
Well, you can't argue that.
It was beautiful out, and we were going to go to a game tomorrow, but I think we're going to forego that one and just hit all the hot spots. We're at spring break in Fort Myers, and there's plenty of scenery to be taken in.
Yeah.
Good old Bill McDonald.
There you go, Bill.
Hey, so
you can do the karaoke.
Yeah,
have Bill. We'll travel.
That's right. Hey, while we got you on the line, we were just talking about something. I don't know if you happen to watch anything last night, sports related. Madison Bumgarner versus the Chicago Cubs last night got pretty animated on the mound.
Oh,
and
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah.
And it brings me to ask you the question: Did you see any antics? Or anything out of sort, or anything that surprised you in either of these games?
No,
out of
on the baseball field antics.
On the field antics.
Yeah. Anything that surprised me on the field. We had a couple of broken bats went flying out in the shortstop, second base area, but as far as antics or anything like that, not really. They were pretty low key games. I mean, nobody was hot dogging it or nothing really happened other than a couple of broken bats, really. Pop-up confusion. Yeah. A couple of times when they had pop-ups and they didn't know who was going to take it, it fell between them, but...
Right.
That'll happen in spring training. Yeah,
that's spring training.
Yeah. They're getting their stuff down. But.
Though we are only a week away from opening day now.
That's right. Opening day is coming up. And... it sounds like you got somebody in there behind you.
Yeah,
you got
someone feeding you the answers there, Bill?
My travel partner, John Brasser, is with me. And, I mean, it was kind of odd. I didn't realize they spray painted home plate like a half hour before the game. I didn't know they did that kind of thing.
Yeah, you got to make it white.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. And then they soaked the infield down like a half hour before the game, and the game started with it wet. And then they threw dry on it. Yeah. after watering it down, they threw the absorbent on it.
Oh, the Diamond Dry.
That makes no sense. Well, baseball, crazy. It's one of those quirky things. Well, that's neat. I'm glad you're having a lot of fun down there. So any celebrity sightings, anything like that?
Celebrity sightings.
Well, you see Osprey diving for fish, out of the lights.
Yeah, they had the Osprey had built nests up in the lights at the stadium yesterday. Detroit game. Detroit game had like nests at the top of each light, and you had birds diving in and out of the ball game from the nest up on top of the lights.
Oh, that is hilarious!
Carrying fish back and forth.
Well, as long as we don't have another Randy Johnson incident, that'll be okay.
When he hit the pitch.
The blown up bird.
That was great. So, all right.
But, we went out about 20 miles today fishing. It took us about 20 miles into the Gulf, and we caught about 28 good-sized fish, and brought them back, and they filleted them right there on the boat, and we took them right down the street, and there's a restaurant that'll fry them up for you.
Fantastic. Now you do know, like when you go out tomorrow, you got to bring Steve and I back some souvenirs.
Well, souvenir store is on our agenda for tomorrow.
Well, we were looking like about 22, nice build.
Yeah. I'm into redheads. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is probably being recorded.
Yeah, we just need some folks. We need some nice company to talk sports with us up there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Junior analysts.
Yes.
Not too junior though.
Right.
No.
21 and over.
Yes, there you go. We want to get that junior out of there. No junior.
So is the studio all still in one piece? I want to know that.
So you're going to bring that analyst up when?
Yeah, I had a dream the other night that you guys just made a shambles of the studio.
Well,
and you're going to bring that analyst up when?
Well, I can definitely say this: all the fires are out.
Well, and the analyst is coming when?
Except for that one, and Steve's trying to put it out right now.
Stop. All the water's frozen in the refrigerator. I can't use it.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to have to go. I'm in a traffic jam now.
Enjoy it, man.
Yep, you have a good one,
all right,
Bill.
Make sure you turn off that board, man, so it doesn't burn up.
Yes, Dad.
Yes, we will turn off the board.
All right, man. I'm out. Bye.
Bye.
Bill McDonald. Oh, always He is not only the baseball analyst for today, he is also the owner of the station.
That is
and treating it as such.
Yes.
So,
hey, some updates on scores.
Yes.
NCAA, 38 seconds left in the half. Virginia 43, Iowa State 31. 7:31 to go in the first. Wisconsin 17, Notre Dame 13. NCAA hockey 2-2 with 4 minutes to go. Michigan, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, Wisconsin, low scoring game.
It is. Defensive struggle. You know, Wisconsin loves to play the defense.
That is very true.
So
that is very true. That's falling right into Wisconsin's hands.
Oh, most definitely on that one. So he's going to bring us up an analyst, you said.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't tell him about what we did. So.
You're going to get us in so much trouble. I'm just saying.
I told you we shouldn't have done that.
All right, that's it. You're grounded. You're grounded.
Again?
So, hey, Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday, yes.
That is coming up. Doing anything for Easter?
I'm actually working on Easter.
Oh, boy.
But the kids are, Zach is down. He's watching the Michigan Notre Dame hockey game. That's where I'm getting my scores from. They're down in Cincinnati, so he's there at the game. My daughter will be home next weekend, so we're looking at that. So it's other than that, ham and the wife.
My kids are eating a whole bunch of candy, and I'm going to do nothing but watch basketball.
Ooh,
that's it. All right. Well, that is the signal. It's time for us to go. You guys enjoy your weekend. Happy Easter, and we will talk some Final Four basketball next week. Have a good weekend.
Good night.
Remove. Soil tested and block approved. Really a good dude, but he can get true. From the school of hopper rocks and lifesavers up in his socks, sprinting and running from the cops.
Where do you go when you're looking for great food, a cold drink, and some of the best local live music? I go to the Phoenix, located on the corner of Lincoln Way and Main Street in historic downtown Mishawaka. Thursday nights, it's open jam with $2 well drinks. Friday and Saturdays, there's always live music with no cover charge. Great food, cheap drinks, excellent service. The place to be is the Phoenix.